Hi, in my last blog I looked at the basics of Procmon filtering. In this blog I'm going to look at some filtering shortcuts and some really neat facilities that are available in Procmon. Here I have a file that I captured earlier. There's one thing I wanted to show you. If we consider the filtering by operation, I can come in here and I've reset my filter back to the default set. I choose operation and you can see here's the list of all the operations, and we saw this in the last blog. Now you'll notice that operations that relate to process start with the word process. Operations that relate to registry start with reg. And so I can use this as a filter term for a broad group of entries. So for example, I can say operation begins with reg, and sure enough I get lots of registry related events. The problem is that if I want to get all of the events relating to file I/O, you'll notice that we have close file, create file. There are other file operations in here like read file. Some of them do start with the word file, actually, you can see here, but it's not so easy. But what we can do is we can use contains, and we can enter the word file. So we're looking for any operation with a string description that contains the string file. We apply that and sure enough we get the file entries. But there's a simpler way to do this. What we can do is we can actually use event class, and so we have different types of event that Procmon is capturing. So you can see file system, network, etc. And we covered this in an earlier blog. The only thing we didn't cover was profiling, which I'll look at in a later blog. Let's choose file system here and apply that instead, and you can see that we get file system related events. So that's quite useful. So I'm going to reset my filter, and what I want to do is I just want to show you a couple of additional things. Let's do a find for SVC host. You can see I've used this before. I'm going to find an SVC host executable in this trace. In fact, we can see them all here, but I'm going to demonstrate it anyway. We can use this dialog box to find any string that appears in the displayed data, including over here in the detail. The detail is a bit like the info column in Wireshark. So we can look for that, and I'll do a find, and sure enough it finds an SVC host entry. Now what I can do is I can right click on this entry and I can choose include svc host.exe and right click, and I immediately get all of the entries for SVC host. So that's a pretty quick way and a neat way of doing that type of filter. You can see that we have a number of instances of SVC host. So we've got some with a process ID or PID value of 528, some of them with 892. I think we have some other values in here as well. I just saw, yeah, 1404. So let's choose 1404. I can right click, I can do include. So you have to right click over the PID value and it will present you with these options. I can choose include, and now all of the entries in the trace are limited to those relating to process ID 1404. And I can do the same with threads, so you can see I've got multiple threads running in this process. I can right click, choose a thread, and now I've just got everything for thread 2744. We'll talk about processes and threads in a later blog. The other thing that I really like is this ability to right click, say, on an entry there, and I can say exclude all events before this point. I wish this was available in Wireshark, it would be so useful. And I can choose another entry down here and I can say let's exclude everything after this point, and now I have everything between those 2 points I really like that. That's really useful. Now I can temporarily switch off filter terms. So we can see actually, you notice that we've included all these filters where we've done these right clicks. We've included these now in the filter expression. There's the exclude all events before a certain point and after a certain point. And here are the includes for the thread ID, etc. I can temporarily remove these filter terms. If I click there and click there, that will remove the exclusion of the before and after filter terms. I apply OK, and now I'm back to having all of the stuff for thread ID 2744 that's in this trace. And reapplying is simply a matter of ticking them again, and it applies the filter again. Okay, so the final thing I want to show you in this blog is bookmarking. So you remember in Wireshark we have this ability to highlight or mark packets in the packet list using Control M or using the menu system. You can do the same thing in Process Monitor. There is a difference though. In Process Monitor you can only do a find for a bookmarked entry. You can't use it as a filter. So you can't filter and display all of the bookmarked entries. So let's quickly look at that. I'm going to eliminate some of this. Let's go back to the default set of filter terms. And let's just go to a random point somewhere in this file, like there. And I can do event toggle bookmark. And you can see it's highlighted that entry. Let's go to another area here. Now this time I'm just going to use Control B, which has the same effect. So I clicked on Control B and that's highlighted that entry. Let's go back to the top of the trace, and now I can do find bookmark. And you can see that I have a bookmarked entry there. And I can do find bookmark again, find bookmark again. And there's the second entry that I bookmarked. In the next blog we'll look at processes, threads and stack traces, and once we've covered that we'll be in a great position to start looking at some network related entries. Okay, I'll see you soon.